with those like collaborative efforts, because I know one person usually doesn't do everything themselves. So how does like one get like credit for the work, like the involvement credit? Like how does that process work? And say I sold a beat, or how do you even legally sell a beat? I'm not sure the process on that. Could you kind of break that stuff down for me?
Yeah, totally. Well, that's like a whole entire episode of info, but I can give you
Just a
some like,
general,
yeah,
like
I can
a
give you some like ideas around it. So yeah, credits are a challenging thing. It used to be a little easier for it because all the credits would be like on this in the CD booklet or on the vinyl, cover. Now everything's digital and credits aren't organized as well. There has been a lot of effort made over the past couple of years with different organizations that have sought out to bring a better way to credit people for their work, which is really great. And Spotify has started to do that now. So the way there's a couple different ways. In the major side of things, there's usually someone that's sort of like an administrator of a project, and that person is responsible for collecting all of the information and delivering it to the label at the end of the project. So they track down who's every musician that played on this, who's every songwriter, what's their publishing. They connect all that information together and they make sure that it's delivered to the people that need it. So those projects are always great. We always get credited for those the way we're supposed to, and you can find the credits and that sort of thing. Now the smaller like development projects, those are a little tougher because that you don't necessarily have someone that's managing all of that. One of the ways to make sure that you get credit is to write it out in your contract. So you have a production agreement with an artist, and one of the clauses in that can be that you have to be credited this way with this name in these places, and then it's just laid out, and it's part of it, and then they know, and you have the conversation about it. Probably one of the most common reasons that people don't get credit is because they don't talk about it and make sure that it's part of the the plan with things. And so all of that information is submitted through your like distributor and stuff. You can do that, and now that Spotify is adding that, there's more opportunity for that to show up on people's songs, when they're there. So that's credit for like being involved in the project. Now, as far as like residual revenue credit and like publishing credit and that sort of thing, that's more on the back end of how songs are registered. So you have your performance credits, public performance credits, which would go through BMI or ASCAP or CSAC. And so you'd want to have an account with them, and you want to make sure that when the song is submitted that you upload it with all the proper information. So you determine what your publishing splits on the songs would be. You have your publishing company set up to be able to and to be able to administer the revenue when it comes through, and then you make sure that it's submitted properly. And you can submit it, or the artist can submit it and then send you the information. You make sure that you have that. For digital rights, meaning like Spotify royalties and stuff, only the performers get royalties on that, and that's all submitted through Sound Exchange. So that for a producer, there's a letter of direction that the artist gives to Spotify that says this is the producer on the song, this is the share that they get of the royalties from it. And then if you're a session musician and your session is done through the union, the union has a relationship with Spotify where the performers on the record will also get their cut of the royalties based on that. But you just got to make sure the paperwork's right and that you go through the proper methods. I think the biggest thing is just having the conversation. So if you're in a songwriting session, make sure that it's clear what the splits are and who gets what. So you have all of that information. Make sure that you get everyone's publishing information and like in BMI or ASCAP or CSAC account number, when you're doing that. So you got it all like and keep good notes and documents of that sort of thing. And then if you're a producer, making sure that conversation happens up front on what the back end, points are, and make sure that you have that letter of engagement for Spotify and that information. And then if you're a collaborator in that, similar thing, just making sure that you have the proper paperwork for it.